Hey guys, John Di Lemme, the founder of Conservative Business Journal and a host of the CBJ Real News Podcast Show. And that's right, the title of tonight's show, and I laugh on even before I introduced Jared here, is he said, let's go Brandon to Biden directly on Christmas Eve. Some of you heard the story, seen the story. I saw it on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I actually showed the video of Jared live on my show on Christmas, and we laughed hysterically about it when he called in. So Jared from Oregon, welcome, my man. You're awesome.
Thank you for having me, man. It's an honor to be here.
So we're gonna have a conversation tonight. What I want to do is I want to show the video of Biden and Jill sitting in the wherever they're sitting. Who knows where they're sitting at that time, because they haven't been in the White House since there. But I'm going to show the video, and on the phone is you calling in, and then we'll unpack the whole scenario. So this is absolutely the best ever. Here we go. All right.
And how
about Penelope?
Well, Penelope, she's only 2, so I think she'd be happy with just about it.
Oh, that's great.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful that you have a 2-year-old. Well, have a Merry Christmas. Have a wonderful Christmas.
And by the way, you guys have to be in bed by 9 o'clock, and asleep between 9 and 12, or he doesn't show up.
This isn't to you, Jared. This is to the kids.
That's right.
Well, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
Well, yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well. Merry Christmas, and let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree. Hey, by the way, where are you in Oregon? Where's your home? I think we lost him.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We're going to show it a couple times tonight. So I mean, I think it's the best because Jill knows what went on. So tell everybody, let's give him a huge round of applause. Welcome to the CBJ News Podcast Show. The man, the myth, the legend that called in, and Biden goes, all right, let's go, Brandon. Did we lose him? So tell everyone the story, what that was, and you called in during Christmas Eve. This is phenomenal.
Yeah, so it was not a premeditated phone call. I didn't know Joe Biden was taking calls. My oldest, my 2 boys, we have 4 kids. My 2 boys and I have been calling NORAD for the past 3 years or so. And typically you talk to a volunteer at the Air Force Base, which I believe is a Space Force base now in Colorado. And they'll tell you when Santa's supposed to be in your area. So same thing this year. That's what our intention was. And the volunteer told us that Jill Biden was taking phone calls and asked if we wanted to talk to her. She didn't mention Joe at the time. And I figured, sure, why not? Maybe I'll get a chance to tell her how I feel. And we'll just see what happens. But in the back of my head, I'm thinking it's probably going to be some sort of automated Christmas message. We wait on hold for 10 or 15 minutes. And about halfway into that wait, I had my son go get his iPad to film this because I started thinking, well, maybe this is going to be real. We've been on hold for a little bit. And sure enough, Joe actually is the first one to talk. And I couldn't believe it, because I couldn't believe that they would actually allow him to carry on an unscripted conversation with someone. And they did little to no vetting of me. They only asked me for my name and what state I was from. And maybe they figured because I'm from Oregon that they were safe.
Sure, that's right.
But yeah, I mean, halfway into the call, and I'm trying to navigate the call, and I want to tell him how I feel. But I was being very respectful during the phone call. There's no reason not to be respectful. And just trying to figure out how I can slip something in, and it popped in my head. Oh, let's go, Brandon. That's like the perfect thing to fit into this phone call, and we'll just see what happens. And I waited for that right moment at the end of the call. As soon as I said, let's go, Brandon, they hung up on me. So they didn't lose me. They hung up on me.
And, I mean, but the best is when he said, well, I think we lost him, and Jill's face just dropped because, she's part of the criminal activity. She's aiding and abetting in the criminal activity. And she knows exactly what went on. And that's what you 100%. Said. I think they said, well, he's from Oregon, so he's going to be a safe person. A safe zone. And what I have right now, I want to actually show, I have the video of you saying the Let's Go Brandon here. This your son recorded this?
Yep. Yep.
Let's see.
I hope you have a wonderful.
Yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well. Merry Christmas, and let's go, Brandon.
And that was it.
Bye-bye.
Wait, I gotta play that again. That's got to be played again.
Hey, well,
I hope you have a wonderful.
yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well. Merry Christmas, and let's go, Brandon. Bye-bye.
I just think that's so. Let's unpack this. So when you were there, we talk about that was the moment God put you in a position. He knew you'd say it by faith. And when you said, I'm going to go for it. Tell everyone what was in your heart, Jared, at that point when you said, you know what, I'm going to go for it.
I'm known amongst family and friends to be a bit of a prankster, and so there really wasn't much thought to it at that point. I just went for it, and I had that opportunity to voice my opinion. And I mean, let's not forget, Let's Go Brandon it was a gift from the mainstream media that worked so hard to shut We the People down.
That's right.
They gave us this gift, and Let's Go Brandon has become this movement that of freedom that encompasses all of our frustrations with Joe Biden, the administration, the leftist mob, the cancel culture, the mainstream media, everything that's going on, and everything that this administration is responsible for, from the debacle in Afghanistan, the loss of American lives there, the record inflation rates, fuel's through the roof right now. We're weak. I mean, we are so weak. All the mandates, the unconstitutional and un-American mandates, the fact that he's not even a legitimate president.
That's right.
And,
and but I want everyone to realize, I mean, Let's Go Brandon means F you, Joe Biden. That was going back to the original, NASCAR race or the race that day. And the news media got in their ear saying, oh, they said, Let's Go Brandon, meaning the Brandon who won the race. Everyone forgets where it started, and the entire entire bleachers, everyone in the stadium. In the racetrack was chanting, "Let's Go Brandon," which means, they were chanting "F you Biden," and she said, "Oh, they're saying Let's Go Brandon." We have to remember that. That's where it started from them saying "F you Biden."
Yeah.
And she said, oh, they're saying Let's Go Brandon, because God's lining up these points. And I see Jeff is on. Jeff Preston he's a great guy. We actually have his artwork as one of our featured products on the conservative marketplace. And he's actually went through Hell Week as a Navy SEAL. He made it all the way through, and then he was then he cried and left, hurt his little knee and stuff. Jeff, he's a great friend of mine. And he says you're his new hero. He said Jared's my new hero. So but I just think it's I think it's great. And then we got John Moore on. John says hysterical and will never get old. He says this should definitely make a Trump rally video. This is just too funny. I think it's great. You said and then Biden repeats it, and I'm going to show it again. He said he's so gone. He said, let's go. He basically said F you to himself. And he said, I agree. That's the spirit of God. And I did a whole show. I ranted the time he was walking up Air Force One and fell down on the steps. And that was God whispering in his ear going, look, remember Sodom and Gomorrah? You remember Gideon? you remember Goliath? I'm warning you, it's not going to last much longer. And I just think it's hysterical. So what did your kids say after you did that? They hung up on you. You were like, that's your moment, young man. And you're like, Jared, that's going to change the rest of your life. That was a life-changing, faithful words.
How'd you
explain it to your kids? Like when you said to your kids, I just said to the president, well, it's not the president, but to Biden, and he said F you back to himself. How'd you explain it to your 4 kids?
So they were already aware of the Let's Go Brandon mantra and how it came to be. And so they thought it was very funny. And then that's really as far as it went initially, because I didn't know it was live streamed at the time. It was 10 minutes, 15 minutes later that we saw it on a Breitbart post on Instagram. And I didn't even have an Instagram account at that point. It was my wife saw it, and that's when we realized, like, oh my gosh, like this is going to be big. And yeah, I mean, we had a great laugh. Now, I will say after that initial laugh, we got a ton of backlash and death threats. They were threatening to kill my kids, posting my address on the internet.
So who is they? When you say
I
they,
I don't know.
it's amazing, isn't
They
it?
were a lot of unknown phone calls, but it was like on Christmas night, especially. It was as soon as my phone stopped, it started again, and it wasn't just me. My wife was receiving calls. My parents, my in-laws, some cousins were even receiving phone calls. We are small business owners here in Southern Oregon, and our business they attempted to hack our website. They were review bombing us, blowing up our phones. I mean, for gosh, darn near a month after this happened, our phones were ringing off the hook. We had to stop answering phone calls.
So I want to unpack something you said. You said review bombing. But, as you get to know me
Yeah.
better, Jared, I actually wrote a book titled "Making Capitalism Great Again: How to Maximize America's Booming Economy, the ABCs of Socialism versus Capitalism." So my wheelhouse is business and capitalism and marketing. So review bombing means they literally bomb your business on social media to take your reviews from 4.5 to 5 stars down to 0 and 1. And so unpack for everyone, because I want everyone, as you know, we have to get a show like this podcast out to people. Don't believe this guy's a dad, a husband. He's got 4 kids. Said it to Biden. Biden said it back. And then within, we said your in-laws were getting death threats, threatening phone calls, your wife, your phone. Guys, if it's not true, why are they so scared? And that's why you guys can't cower. You can't back down. And that's why I love about you, because you are a We the People movement. You're not a rhino. You're not a PAC member who won't talk about election corruption and Biden being a complete dope and moron. So review bombing. What they do? Because it's all about the economy. This entire 15 days to flatten the curve is the economy.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a bunch of made up stories about me, specifically on a lot of them, coming into these houses doing electrical work. I'm not even a licensed electrician. I'm a project manager at the business. So just completely made up stuff. And you know what? I expected that. The death threats on my kids and my wife really bugged me, of course. But when it came down to it, at that point, my oldest son specifically was pretty scared. And that night at like 3 a.m, actually, on Sunday morning, we broke down as a family and prayed, and prayed for guidance and all this, because I did have the concern that this was going to affect our business and that this was going to affect the livelihood of the rest of our team. And I also, obviously don't want my kids to be scared. So we prayed, and then we talked about freedom and the fact that freedom is not a gift given to us by our government. It's a privilege. It's not a privilege. It's a right that's given to us by God at birth. And no one can take that from us unless we willingly give it away. And I'm not going to give it away. And we talked about the fact that the reason these people are so mad isn't because of what I said. It's because of what Joe Biden said. He's shown the world once again that he's completely clueless, incompetent, and lost. He's not there. And so their response is always to attack, demean, smear, and take the focus off of what the actual problem is. That's what they're doing right now with what's going on in Ukraine. That's what they've done this with everything. It's always the next carrot to take you off of your attention off of what's happening in our own country. We've got our own border to worry about right now. And we can't let them fool us. We can't let them lull us into submission. I think that a lot of people were asleep for a long time, which allowed us to get to this point. And we cannot afford to be asleep on this. So from that point on, man, we haven't looked back. I knew I needed to stand up. Our business stood up with me, and I'm not going away, because this is way too important. I'm not going to allow our country to implode upon itself. It's lost its focus because it's lost sight of God. That's what it comes down to.
And that's and there's more of us than them. That's why when we got banned on YouTube and we had over 1 million subscribers, a couple million subscribers, 5,400 videos. I've been podcasting for years. In 72 hours, they literally, and I'll be doing for all my listening subscribers, I'm going to be doing a show sometime next week, an hour-long show explaining what we did to rebuild after all that. They literally suffocated us and tried to put us out of business and destroy us. But we were not backing down. That was when I reached out to God and screamed literally, and he gave me the vision of conservativemarketplace.com. And I appreciate all of you supporting us. And we have our, and you'll love this, we have a Let's Go Brandon line in there. So I'm gonna mail you one of these hats. This is one of our top sellers, is our Let's Go Brandon hat. It'll be up here on the screen in a second. And everyone loves that hat. And we have the hat, we have the shirts, we have so many different items. And when you wear it everywhere. It's a conversation creator, because people know what it is, and if people that don't like it, what are they going to say? I mean, that's why, you guys cannot be afraid of standing up. And once again, guys, make sure you do visit conservativemarketplace.com. That's how we're able to do what we do. That's how we're able to have our writers and our contributors and do our shows and do our events, do what we do to run a company. So make sure you visit conservativemarketplace.com. And I want to give a big shout out to Latasha, who is one of our top sponsors and supporters. And today she actually placed an order for 50 Fate stands and Fear on wristbands. We'll mail some of these out to your family too. They're red, white, and blue, and they're 5 words. It's Fate stands and Fear runs. Everyone loves them. She ordered 50 of them, and then she ordered 50 of the Fate stands and Fear run quote cards. And so I want to thank Latasha for that. She's actually giving them out to her clients, and all of you know that she actually is the founder of our beauty and skincare line that we offer on conservativemarketplace.com. So, what's exciting is I want this show to give all of you hope, faithful hope, to step out and stand with your beliefs. What I want to do, Jared, is I want to show it again, and I want to unpack it again when you're sitting. Every time I'm about to hit and play, I see he's sitting there, and guys, watch when they hang up, and he says, "I agree." I mean, the guy says, "I agree." He basically said "F you" to himself. I agree. He's so gone. The guy is. That's why take this episode and share it to guys. Your friends already know how you stand, so send it out to 10 to 20 of your friends that are on the edge about what a dopey is. This will definitely expose to you the guy's gone. That's December 24th. Now we're 2-3 months out from that, so he's even worse off. So here we go.
And
how about Penelope?
Well, Penelope, she's only 2, so I think she'd be happy with just about 8.
Oh, that's great.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful that you have a 2-year-old.
Well,
have a Merry Christmas. Have a wonderful Christmas.
And by the way, you guys have to be in bed by 9 o'clock, and asleep between 9 and 12, or he doesn't show up.
This isn't to you, Jared. This is to the kids.
That's right.
Well, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
Well,
Here we go.
yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well. Merry Christmas, and let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree. Hey, by the way,
wait.
Let's go. Yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well. Merry Christmas, and let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree. Hey, by the way, where are you in Oregon?
I mean, wait a minute. Let's move it this way so we can get you and I. Oops, sorry about that. I mean, here we go. I mean, Jill said. I mean, Jill knows what you said. I mean, she's a cognitive thief, so she knows the heist is on. I mean, see her face. This guy just said, "Let's go, Brandon," and who's ever next to me just said, "Let's go, Brandon." I agree. And he kept talking, and at that point, that's when it hung up on you.
Yeah, right after I said, "Let's go, Brandon." So I didn't get to hear any of his reply. It was disconnected at that point.
And what went through your mind and heart? Like your kids were there and your wife was there, and you said, "Let's go," but you actually got it out of your mouth and said it, and then you didn't hear him respond back. But once you said, they hung up on you. And that was, life changing.
My wife was out baking at the time in the kitchen, so she was getting some food ready, and so we just went out and told her that we had just talked to Joe Biden and that I said, "Let's go, Brandon." And I don't know if she fully believed it. And then, she sees it on social media, 10, 15 minutes later. So it was just it was a God thing. I'm convinced it was because, and I didn't know at the time, but it was after when we started receiving that backlash and we prayed.
What was the first backlash called, Jared? When did the first one come in?
That evening, probably, maybe 6-8 hours after the the phone call.
So that
And
means
then
they searched out, like they gave out your first and last name when they introduced you, because that's just because you were talking to what, a minute or two beforehand, right, about the kids and the gifts and everything, and when
yeah, but I
Santa's gonna
never
come.
gave them my last name.
It's interesting,
So
right?
mhm,
So
yeah,
that means somebody in the White House, the guys, pay attention here. So I knew the question, the answer to that question. I wanted you to just reaffirm it. We didn't even talk about that. We talked a few times, and Carol introduced us, and I appreciate it. And I'm so excited you're on the show, and you're going to be part of it, because I have to have you on again. I just love this conversation. It's just great because Biden is just a complete dope. I mean, I will not recognize him as a president. I mean, I say this
no,
respectfully. I had an opportunity just in the last 3 weeks to get I've been podcasting my business journal for years, and I've written 20 books, and so it's what I do, and I've done many events, spoke, all that stuff I do, and I got offered a very, very high salary position as a radio show host under an affiliate company, but I would have to get vaxxed, and I said,
oh,
no way. I said, no way.
good
I'm
for
not
you.
doing it. And people. And I want everyone to take this. You have to step out in faith so God can trust you. The problem is 99% of people cower. That's all the Congress people that cower, that vaxxed up. It's all that crap. And going from all the ones that recognize Biden as he's a criminal. My dad is on. My dad's 92. He's on tonight. He loves you. He was so excited to hear the story tonight. And he told me, he said, I'm sure, he says, Jared's a good example for his family, for his boys, to do the right thing, to step out in faith. Okay. Oh yeah. So the White House, going back to the criminal activity, the White House, somebody in the White House that took that phone call from you, and they got thousands of phone calls that night. They took that number and gave it out, said, go after him, go get him. This is how they work. That's why you have to be like a Navy SEAL like Jeff. You've got to be prepared. You got to be a warrior. I mean, seriously, when you unpack the depth, it's not an innocent game. I mean, they're out to destroy and shut down anybody with ethics and morals. I mean, that's so 6 to 8 hours, and then it started.
Yeah, and it just gradually got worse. The thing that I've noticed with this, and I guess my encouragement to everyone, because this is always how they go after people. But when we stood up and when we made it clear that it's real, like we are standing up and we're not going to back down. All that hate was replaced by this overwhelming outreach and support and encouragement from patriots across the country and even around the world. I've received letters from people in Australia thanking me for standing up, and that's what resonates. I mean, that's where God has used me in this, is the way we acted afterwards. It was a very funny phone call, and it proved once again that he's completely incompetent. It's the standing up that we need to do, and that's what's going to matter at the end of the day. I don't want to get up to the gates and have him ask me, why didn't you step up when I gave you that chance?
That's right.
And I'm 100% convinced we were created for this time. That's why we're here, and it's on we the people to save this country. It's not going to fall on a politician's not going to save us. We need to put in the work. We need to be involved. We need to support each other because we are bigger, and we're based on truth. That's our whole message is based on freedom and truth, and their message is the complete opposite of that. So the truth is going to crumble their foundation as long as we use our voices and we stay active and we make changes.
And it's a great point you just said, and not one politician would say that to Biden to his face. Let's go, Brandon. I would. You did.
I would again if I get the chance.
I mean, you get a chance, right? That's right. It's very important what he just said. He said, "I'd say it again if I had a chance," because he's a citizen. He's an American citizen. He's a dad. He's a husband. He's a Constitution. Is the first three words. We the people. I say it all the time. A politician is not going to save this country. So when you said to him, and you said, when we said earlier when we began the show, you said you wanted to really tell them how you feel. Tell everybody how you feel. What you feel. You're in Oregon. I mean, in Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon's. So to give you an idea, 2 weeks ago, I believe, maybe 3, they lifted our mask mandates. So yeah, when we were in Florida for Patriot Fest, it was freedom. It was freedom. Now, we haven't been complying with it, And no one said a word to me in stores. My son had someone say something to him, though, right before we went to Florida. So about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, before this was lifted, he was in a supermarket. And this was my oldest son, the one who was a little bit scared at first during that phone call.
How old is he?
So
How old is your
11,
son? 11,
11
years
years old,
old.
and he's with my wife's 88-year-old grandma at a supermarket, and someone comes up to him and gets in his face and says, "Where's your blank mask?" And just a patron in the store, not even an employee. And my son looks at him and says, "Let's go, Brandon." and and he told me that the guy just had this look of shock. He didn't even know what to say, and he just walked away. And that's the thing. They will always back down if we stand up, because
Right.
we stand for truth. We stand for God. We have God on our side. And as long as we remember that, stay focused on that, then we're going to come out on top. We just can't back down.
That's so important. And there's so many people. I want all my listeners and subscribers. 3 things, guys. Make sure you follow us on Rumble, Telegram, and Cloud Hub. And I'm excited about Cloud Hub because we have so many views in Cloud Hub and so many shares because there's no censorship. And our channel, as you know, is CBJ Real News. So just follow CBJ Real News and share, like, and subscribe. And make sure that you visit conservativebusinessjournal.com. We just hired 2 more writers this week, correct, Christy? You know, at 11 a.m. every morning, we email out to all of our email subscribers some of the greatest conservative news out there. We just published an article today to be going on tonight about the new president of Disney making 50% of the characters on Disney LBGTQAXYZ, all that crap. I mean, it's brutal. And we publish the conservative news, so make sure you guys do submit your email to conservativebusinessjournal.com so you guys get notified of the real news. And then make sure you have the app on your smartphone for the podcast. However you download your favorite podcast, Apple Store, Google Play, search out Conservative Business Journal. That's our podcast channel is on the Conservative Business Journal. Subscribe. It's free. All of our episodes are there, and they're all in alphabetical order. So you can put in Jared's last name. And Jared, how do you pronounce your last name?
Schmeck.
So it's spelled SCHMECK.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
So what you do, guys, literally, you could be listening to this 3 months from now, and I'll obviously many of the episodes after this, you can just type in Jared's last name, search, just hit share, and send the audio podcast out to someone and go, listen to this. This is how we get the real news out. I say big problem, big opportunity. It's a big problem right now. That's why they went after. I mean, they went after this guy. He didn't give his last name out, and somebody in the White House gave his number out, and then his children's getting, and his in-laws are getting threats. I mean, if you don't think they're sick and they're deadly, that's a major part of tonight's show. That's huge what he's saying. If you don't think we're saying election corruption, COVID's a scam, the vaccines creating AIDS left and right everywhere. I mean, the whole 5G. And I want to thank all of you. We just added to conservativemarketplace.com 5G protection. I just confirmed today I will have the owner of that company on next week, who was phenomenal. I talked to him yesterday. So we have great 5G protection that's available in conservativemarketplace.com. So it's so exciting, guys, to make sure you get the real news out. And what I want to do, Jared, one more point before I let you go to your awesome family. I want to show the clip of you again. I just think it's because it's like you're sitting, like I just said that. And that was it. That was like when David pulled that slingshot back. That was game changing. I mean, that was it. And that was like the 7th time walking around those walls in Jericho. That was it. That was faith stands and fear runs. I mean, so show it again. It's the best. Here we go.
I hope you have a wonderful.
Yeah. Hey, well.
I hope you have a wonderful.
Yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well. Merry Christmas, and let's go, Brandon. Bye-bye.
What I would love to see is the person in the White House, whoever heard that and said, they probably said F to themselves, like, this guy just said this.
And it was a delayed call.
What was that?
It was a delayed phone call. I mean, they weren't very fast on the draw to shut it off before the audio got out to him.
And then he responds back to, like, he said, if that doesn't prove, that's why this show is, that doesn't prove he's got zero cognitive ability. The guy's beyond whatever. He has no mindset. The guy, zero.
He doesn't.
Zero. Christy, what do you want to share? Any
You're
questions,
right.
Jared, or anything you want to share? Just a great interview, a great conversation. I'm so proud of you stepping out and saying
Thank
what's
you.
on your heart. You know, God gives you death and life in the power of our tongue. And, you know, I'll say it again, not one politician, Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, they would never say that to Biden. They would never say it. They would never say, oh, it's not disrespectful. It's the truth. Now, look, once again, I'm an independent media podcast show host. My wife and I founded Conservative Business Journal. I've been banned, censored. So my sponsors and supporters appreciate that we speak like this. So I don't cower down. And that's what I love about you. Like, there's a restaurant here, Uncle Eddie's, that put out the signs. And long story short, the sign says, this was after the debacle in Afghanistan. He said, if you still support Biden after the debacle in Afghanistan, I'm just recapping it, this restaurant's not for you. He basically said, if you support Biden, don't come to the restaurant. Because Palm Beach County is very liberal here, because Naples is on Collier County on the West Coast. So East Coast here, Palm Beach County is very liberal. They went after him in the Palm Beach Post. They went crazy, and he got the review bomb, and he just shut everything down. I've spoken there now. There's a group called Trumpsters Tuesday Therapy Group. They're awesome. They have a group of 900 people locally, and I've been blessed to speak with Lisa and Tommy. And you guys listening at our We the People Fight Back event over in Naples, Lisa and Tommy will be at the event talking about how they built Trumpsters Tuesday Therapy Group. And literally, Uncle Eddie's restaurant is the busiest he's ever been, ever. And they did the review bomb, and he told his team to shut down all my social media, don't care. And his restaurant is booked solid. He's the busiest he's been ever at the restaurant. Every time I speak there, I tell people, like, look, if you just do what Uncle Eddie did, you do what Jared did, God will trust you and provide for you. Most won't, because of that 1% or 3% friends. Well, that's just what they should do. Just do it, guys. Just do it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree. I mean, that's what we have to do. And it's you hit the nail on the head when you said, and I'm paraphrasing what you said, something along the lines of, it's not disrespectful, it's the truth.
Truth.
People get their feelings hurt. This is about truth. And if the truth hurts sometimes, I'm sorry, but that our policy needs to be truth. It's that simple.
It's the truth. Everyone listening to this, because this show is a show of faith, the show of courage to really not back down, not cower down, because God's going to test you, and that's why we're in a testing season.
Yeah, this is a spiritual battle. It's bigger than what we're dealing with even in our nation. This is a spiritual battle, and I'm telling you, we were made for this time. And as long as we unite, and I'm seeing it, I'm absolutely seeing people standing up at levels I don't think I've seen in my lifetime. But we have to keep that going, and we need to wake up other people that are on the fence, people that are afraid, and show them that there's nothing to be afraid of when you're on the side of truth.
That's right. And make sure all of you guys listen to my podcast show. Last night, Dr. Lynn Lee Tarver, who's from Michigan, and she was down here in West Palm. She was actually going to an event tonight in Mar-a-Lago. So we had dinner with her last night. Her and her husband, Clint. They're awesome. Guys, watch my show from last night. We did a show in front of, and she's one of the strongest Black conservatives, her and her husband, Clint, out of Michigan. She's now running for a huge education position in Michigan. And she was actually the one that exposed all the fraud in Detroit, in Michigan. And there's a BLM bookstore in West Palm Beach, and not one person's ever reported from it except us, right, Christy? Yeah. My first video went viral and went everywhere. It's a store within 6 minutes from Mar-a-Lago, and it's called the Square. It's called the City Place Square. It's $1 billion development, Cheesecake Factory, movies. It's a huge development, outdoor area. It's gorgeous. And there's a huge bookstore, and it Transgender Pride Day, Gender Equality Day. They got kids with a mask on with the power hand. And nobody reports from it because they're afraid of being censored. Literally last night we were doing a video, and my wife was doing a video, and we had somebody videotaping us doing a video, because that went somewhere. Yeah. And that's why, guys, make sure you watch it. For those of you that follow me, it's on my Telegram, it's on my Rumble, it's on my podcast app. I think it's still up. I never know if I'm on Facebook or not. I have no clue with Facebook. And, I have 125,000 followers in Facebook, and 4 people get notified when I go live. So I don't even know what's still up there. But make sure, guys, also by this time you're watching the replay, we're going to have an article published with Linda and I from last night. And Dr. Linda confirmed last night, too. She will be at the We the People Fight Back event in June 3rd, June 4th in Naples, talking about critical race theory, talking about education. So one more question for you. How proud did you feel when your son said, "Let's go, Brandon," to that person?
I probably the most proud I've ever been. I mean, honestly, it just because of what it symbolizes. I mean, he stood up and he wasn't afraid, and this is an adult coming at him in an aggressive manner with aggressive language, and he didn't back down. And I mean, at that point, I mean, it's like uh, maybe I'm doing an okay job of raising these kids.
But that's the key. I mean, that's what you're doing is you're raising the kids. You're raising the kids. I mean, and just to conclude, I want to show one more time, then we'll wrap it up. I want to show the video again of Biden. Tommy G is on. Tommy G, we talked about Uncle Eddie's and Trump's Tuesday Therapy Group. Tommy G, one of the co-founders of it, is live on the line right now. So I talked to him this afternoon. I said you're going to love hearing Jared's story, the infamous young man that called in and said, "Let's go, Brandon to Biden." All right, one more time, and then we'll wrap it up. This is because I got to see it again.
Bring your granddaughter.
And how about Penelope?
Well, Penelope, she's only 2, so I think she'd be happy with just about it.
Oh, that's great.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful that you have a 2-year-old. Well, have a Merry Christmas. Have a wonderful Christmas.
And by the way, you guys have to be in bed by 9 o'clock, you know, and asleep between 9 and 12, or he doesn't show up.
This isn't to you, Jared. This is to the kids.
That's right.
Well, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
Well, yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well.
Oh,
Merry Christmas, and let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree. Hey, by the way, what, are you in Oregon?
You can't. I mean, and he said it's the spirit of God taking over, guys. It's a David and Goliath. He said, "I agree." I mean, he said he doesn't even. I agree. I mean, let's go, Brandon. I mean, I agree. One final point, and then we'll wrap it up. And guys, make sure all of you visit. Once again, I'm not going to show the Marketplace commercial. I want to give Jared a few more times. You know, you do a lot of interviews. People do show like 10 minutes of commercials before they bring you on. I'm gonna keep the whole show you. Just one more point, guys. Make sure you visit conservativemarketplace.com. Take a look at the Let's Go Brandon line. Grab a hold of our Let's Go Brandon vaccination cards. They are a hit. I know Dr. Betsy was at the River Church in Tampa this weekend and gave to Pastor Rodney Howard Brown some of the CDC Let's Go Brandon vaccination cards. You know, Pastor Rodney's a great friend of mine, been on my show. And the great episodes, guys, you can search. You can visit, once again, the app, put in Brown. You'll see Pastor Rodney Howard Brown's episode. You go to my website, conservativebusinessjournal.com, click on podcast, library of episodes, Rodney Brown. Jared will be on there tomorrow under his last name, Schmeck. It's so important, guys. This is real news. I mean, this is it. So pick up a Let's Go Brandon line, all of our Let's Go Brandon items. We'll be mailing out to you and your family some face stands, fear on wristbands, some Let's Go Brandon Vax cards. I mean, who better to get a Let's Go Brandon hat, right, Christy? Right? So even as you watch that, the final point tonight, when you watch that, because I actually have to hit mute on my side because I just love it. I don't want to interrupt the video, but I hear you laughing. I mean, you still laugh at it.
Yeah, I do. It's mostly Jill's facial expressions now that I've watched it so many times. Her facial expression never gets old. So it never will not make me laugh. I mean, it was a great moment in life.
That's right, and that's moments. You know, I talk about the word momentum. Inside the word momentum is a moment. There's a moment in life that God puts you. You step out in faith. Changes your life has changed forever for the better. And I want to say it again. I want to recap this. 6 to 8 hours afterwards, never gave his last name, out to the White House. Even when I introduced you tonight, I didn't even say your last name. I was using it as a talking point, getting into our interview, Jared, that I knew you didn't give your last name out because I watched I found the whole long interview, and you didn't say your last name. So you didn't give it out, and they reaffirmed you didn't give it to them. But somebody in the White House gave out your dial-in number and gave out your last name, and they went after you, your in-laws, your kids. That's how sick they are. But their time is coming. I mean, their time is coming. So how can people follow you? You said you got an Instagram account and so forth?
Yeah. So I am on Instagram now. It's at the real Jared Schmeck. and I'm on True Social at Real Jared Schmeck. Getter is just my first and last name at Jared Schmeck. And I'm not on Twitter hardly ever, but I do have a handle on there, and it's Jared_Schmeck.
All right. Christmas Eve changed everything. So guys, this is a great show. Share it, everyone. Make sure you get the episode out. And I appreciate you guys supporting and sponsoring us and all of our sponsors and supporters by visiting conservativemarketplace.com. Make sure We the People Fight Back event, June 3rd, June 4th, about 67% of our event spoken for already, as you guys know. Only 200 tickets available. We're about 130 tickets spoken for, and that will sell out. So make sure you get your tickets. Call or text us for any questions on anything, 561-847-3467, or you can email team, T-E-A-M, team at conservativebusinessjournal.com. And like Lorene said from Texas, one of our top supporters, she said, that was extremely brave of Jared, for sure. And I agree. Bravery is the key. Guys, take the faith and take the bravery and step out. So, guys, good night. God bless you. Thank you, guys. And share this episode everywhere. This is absolutely phenomenal. I believe one of the best ones of a true We the People. I'll say it again. Not one politician would say to Biden, oh, let's go, Brandon. Thank you, Jared. You're awesome.
Thank you. God bless.
Good night. God bless you.